the Trade Ideas Q&A webinar. Brad and I do this Wednesday event, and the purpose of this event primarily is to showcase, number one, the developments of our technology. How are we progressing? Because it is a credo of Trade Ideas to continue to progress. We're not in the vendor business of just sitting there and vending for vending's sake. We are looking at ourselves all the time and critically trying to improve everybody's position in the active investment game. So as you can see from the first slide, we've had some recent success. Brad, this is a good chance for you to say hi to yourself, test your audio, but you know, Inc. 5000, Red Herring, which you and I did a fantastic job presenting at.
I got to say you're right. You know what? It's good to have some industry validation, something that we love so much. You know, we put a lot of heart and soul into it, but it's great to be validated, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, finally, and it's just a trickle. And I believe that we're so far ahead of like where the industry realizes we actually are, but that's all okay because they'll see what's about to happen. So listen, everyone, before we begin, let's do our traditional disclaimer. Let's make sure everyone is aware that all the information that Brad and I are going to discuss in today's webinar is for informational and educational purposes only. Trade Ideas is not a registered investment advisor, and none of the information is a solicitation to buy or sell any securities. So Brad, now that the disclaimer is out of the way, this is kind of where I really wanted to start. So I'd mentioned before that as a company, we are finally cracking kind of like the corporate veil, so to speak, where people are starting to notice what we're doing, even though we joke about the fact that we're an overnight success going on, what is it, 15 years now?
Yeah, right.
But it's because of you guys. And I really want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being here, taking your time to listen, to learn, and hopefully, of course, access as well. If it wasn't for you, we would not be able to do what we are doing, and you make this possible. That's just really what I want to say. I want to make sure that you guys understand that, and hopefully you will see why we are so obsessed about your success and see the potential of this industry and business as better than it has ever been before. So we just had a period in September. You know, August is typically a slow month for investing in general. And then we had the Labor Day, of course, and so many new people came on board during Labor Day that we've had the most successful 6 days in the company's history in terms of adding people, and we're very proud. That's why I wanted to say thank you. But I wanted to show you also, because Brad had actually sent me this picture, or one like it. Brad, I might be using one of my own. But why is it all of this is happening? Why do you believe in us? Why are you giving us the chance? And I'm just going to show it to you right here, because we prove it with real things, because we're able to demonstrate. So this happened, Brad, was this yesterday?
Yeah, this was yesterday.
Right, so this is yesterday's AI call in PULM, Paul Matrix, at an entry price of 187, 32%. And the reason I circled all these little things here, I want to show everybody that success in the stock market should not be viewed as this mythical, scary thing that, you know, you're buying 1 million shares of some 2-penny stock and it goes to 3 pennies and you make 100. No, it's nothing like that. It's more real. And take a look at this as an example. The stock, of course, is a small stock. There's no question there. But 2.5 million shares, unusual volume. This is basically the example of quote-unquote real news, or the perception of real news. Either way, what we do is attempt to simply showcase the possible versus what most individual investors unfortunately learn as they enter the market. We are taught by the mainstream financial media that market cannot be timed, and that what you are seeing here, what we do, is impossible. But it's not impossible. And again, we wouldn't be growing the way we're growing if more and more people weren't realizing that, wow, this is how it should be done. By the way, this isn't to say that this was easy. But, Brad, you know, we talk about exposure to the proper information so that you're able to digest it. What are you going to focus on? And with trade ideas and what we're doing with the artificial intelligence, we are already telling you we're trying to find 40% winners. I mean, they may not happen, of course, in one day, but here's the beauty. They do happen in one day. And this is the part where most people just like close their eyes. It doesn't compute. You are taught to believe that numbers like 2% and 5% and 10% in a year is good. And all that does is it builds a set of expectations for mediocrity. We are,
well, you know, whether it's that 30% in one day or that 30% in 2 months or 1 month, you know, we're sitting there and we're spotting that initial move, that move that allows you to get in at a price that other people just simply wouldn't be able to spot.
and it's, again, perceiving the market in a different data-driven way. Whoops, sorry about that. I accidentally pressed the button. So, Brad, what I want to do is, again, this part of the presentation, slide part of our demo today is very quick because we've got a lot of stuff to show you. That really... well,
it's pretty cool because we just got a brand new version, right? Something that we've barely even tested it, but it shows some of the functionality that we're building into the software.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, Brad, you know, this is funny. Here, Cheryl had said, the problem I notice is by the time Holly gives the alert entry price has already happened. Okay, well, here's in PULM, the trade happened right here, 187, and look how long the stock actually stayed right at these levels. And because we were in risk on, that's how it happened. Yeah, the thing that most people get confused about is really the fact that, sorry, Brad, you were talking?
It just happens in all different spans. Here's an example of something that happened an hour or 2 hours after the initial signal. But, you know, the market's dynamic. It's moving, and you just have to be prepared to react if that's the type of, you know, position you want to establish. But we're sitting there listening for footprints, initial moves of a potential longer-term move.
Well, also, Brad, you have to dispel the myth of what an actual gain looks like, or success is never, or usually not always, instant. And that need for instant gratification is one of the pitfalls of amateur investors, much like going over the top is a pitfall of amateur golfers. You know, it's something that instinctively, you know, you might want to do, but it turns out to be counter to what happens. You have to have patience. And that's really the art of active investing, is the proper patience, the proper risk management, and then letting things that already do what they do, like trade ideas, do what we do. So without further ado, Brad, let's jump right to it. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the things that Brad and I do when we demonstrate this is we're always bringing new pieces of technology for you guys to take a look at. And right now you're looking at a custom way that I just set up our artificial intelligence channel because it's aftermarket. I want everyone to see what happened today, what it looked like, and I want to talk a little bit about some new things that you're seeing and why, you know, they're so critical because, Brad, there's like footprints for success. So if you notice, you're going to see a lot of these little indicators on a chart from time to time. Brad, would you like to tell me what I am looking at?
Well, I was answering a question, but yeah, what you're looking at is you're looking at some of the historical AI signals and trades, and there's still a few problems with where we're placing this stuff, but it's going to give you the ability to visually see all the AI entries in the past, and also from the interface in the AI window, be able to take a look at all the trades that have occurred.
100%. So we are continuing to use our own technology to give you more insight. And Brad, there's an interesting reason, I hope, that you see why I pulled up TELL. So because you now have access to our data, you can kind of grasp what success might look like and how it differentiates a little bit with what you might perceive it to be. So Brad, there's so much beauty here. I can't even take it, but here we go. So notice that the AI had a trade in TLL, which is tellurium, which is a crude petroleum natural gas extraction company. Right here we have a tooltip. It's April 7th, and it's at $12.19, and basically it was an 8-cent loss. So what happened was this stock had built up a lot of potential through this move up, then this move down, and the AI started to see that if for some reason you started to retrace this, there could have been a lot of potential. Didn't work out. Small loss. That's the risk management part. But the AI is still watching this stock and lots of other stocks like it, and it noticed that maybe there's another possible suggestion right here. And once again, it tried at 10.95, and unfortunately the exit was 10.88. It was a small loss, but it didn't work out. Okay, so Brad, then it actually proceeded higher, and it looked like it really was going to go another try right here, 2 cents, and I'm painting a picture for you one more time. It tries it, just again, it didn't work out, but keeping the losses very small. And then Brad, what happens today?
Great trade today. I mean, it was really a great signal. You can see it visually if you bring in the intraday there on the bottom.
That's 600 basis points, and on a stock that's trading almost 1 million shares, this is something that people or someone, you can trade this in 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 share lots and be making money on. My point is that successful investing takes a little bit of trial and error. And here now you can finally see the AI approach and execution all in the same time. Little incremental failures, because each one of these, and Brad, you and I discuss this all the time. We say, guys, each one of the trades from the AI is something that it has swing potential. And the reason is because of this stored up potential energy going all the way from here from 5 to 25. I mean, this is why the AI thinks that this is a stock you ought to be paying attention to. It can have some misses, but then when it hits, the hits are like that. So again, Brad, before there was simply no way for you to have the ability to see this information, but now you've got the full insight into what was going on. Look at this trade right here. 49-cent risk on gain at this price level, 95. And here you see it being traded again today, but look at where it's going. The idea is that being able to find the potential for the exaggerated returns. This is what that search looks like. And now, because you have this ability to see the data, and of course, I'm hopefully reiterating that it's not all winners. It's impossible to just win. But now, at least here, we were in EQT today at 62 something, and we were at EQT before at 60. Again, remember the swing trade potential. It will try to find this thing going all the way up to 120 if it continues. So this is what we hope gives you even more insight in being able to simply understand that your odds of success in any kind of trade in general are going to be slightly better off when you are paying attention to our data, because now you can see what we were trying to do. Brad, is my sound not coming in good? Because it seems like it's on well.
No, I think you're doing okay.
Just okay or bad?
I mean, look, you never sound like a DJ, but, you know, you sound good.
Okay, okay. So now also, Brad, let's go take a look at some of our channels, and what you're going to see is the same thing. This process where, first of all, we're surfing, and you will instantly be able to know whether or not the artificial intelligence has even thought or looked at a stock. Here's an example. Let me pause it, where the AI was in this trade on August 31st at 10.90. So now you can see it. As you're doing your analysis, there is this visibility into the process of what does an AI do when it's searching for profits. And Brad, one of the things that I really like, and you and I have kind of, well, we talked about the fact that you can really now just sort of sit back, let the software do what it does, and you'll instantly get that feedback, oh, well, this one maybe is one that I ought to pay more attention to, or not.
Yeah, we've created a nice routine of allowing it to surf and to be able to scan through the different top lists. It looks through the first 3 top lists, or first 3 symbols on each top list, and just scrolls through, and you can visually, you know, take a look at the ideas that are presented right here.
And the stocks that you will see that have the additional arrows, and Brad, and again, you guys are seeing like the early pre-release version of stuff that, you know, we're testing. But here's that example. You know, you see it right here. There was the software thought this thing was going to go. In this case, of course, it didn't actually work out, although it was a 21 cent gain.
Work out, right? It still allowed you to make a profit, but it just didn't follow.
Of course. But it also shows you the potential energy. And look, and here's one of the things that you see. It ended up behaving in the way that you will most likely see this thing go again on the AI. And this is where once it is
right there. I mean, you know, I would want to be notified when that threshold gets crossed again. And that's one of the 1-2 punches.
What Brad and I continue to reiterate, which is AI previous and looks amazing. There you go. This is the ultimate kind of smart behavior interaction with the technology. There really is no other way to do better than this. And notice that it's simple. Notice that you do not have to sit there creating if-then statements and macros and all this tinkering that the fintech industry forces upon the individual investor. Ultimately, when one becomes sort of, and I hate even, Brad, I hate to even use the term enlightened, but it sort of applies here, because when you become enlightened to the process and the flow of active investment, self-directed asset management, you realize the simple truth is it just boils down to commitment of capital. And what we give you as the Google navigation for active investing, we're showing you again where the AI thinks there's potential, how to access that potential, or if it's new. Like something else that's not seeing anything, Brad, is also information. You know, that means, at least from the point of view of the AI, it could be a little bit more, I don't say virgin meat, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I won't say that.
So anyways.
That's an interesting setup right there, huh? TTOO.
Well, of course, look at, you know, look at the gain. This was a move that the AI caught right here on this day and then got out of it. I mean, it was and this is one of these things, of course, you know, if you're looking at this in a swing situation, right, Brad? I mean, let's say you don't get out of it that day, but certainly the next day you could have still maintained the gain from the initial position. And then the software didn't see it until right here at 3, and look where it is now. And then again at 4.
Yeah.
1, 2. I mean,
yep.
This is where you know, Brad, it's kind of, it almost sucks that we continue to have to like prove it and prove it and prove it, but I don't know what else, you know, to say. Umar, every position that the AI gets into is a swing position. That's what we're trying to tell you. There's something very important you need to understand.
Potentially.
Well, of course. What is the most critical part of a swing position is the first day. Can you stay in it? Right. Because ultimately, as you know, once you commit capital, you are in the great unknown. Could this have been a nicer trade at long on RH? Do you see what I'm saying here on the swing side? This is, again, the thought process of the AI, what we are hunting for, what we are trying to find. But ultimately, once you have taken this step and once you have made the commitment to go, you have to do something called risk management, which is you have to understand when you've kind of made enough, or if you want to press, or the fact that you can continue, like lose it all, or rather have it all reversed. The market does that. But at least now, again, we are working towards making it easier for you to discern the information that we are providing. Okay, I'm going to go back to the more standard way that we show the AI channel. And the idea that we want to really put forth here is larger percentage gains on a daily basis. I mean, you can just compare the and there was one big loser, Brad, but still, relatively speaking, only 2.63% compared to what do you get when you get the TEL? 6%, or the ORMP at 3%, or AMAG that ended up working out towards the end of the day at 3%. So the next step, Brad, that I think we ought to be discussing is talking a little bit about what we plan on, just as a highlight, our plan for improving the overall risk management of the positions. So what Brad and I are working on is the logic and having the artificial intelligence study its exits and come up with a more easier to follow path on the exit side once you have entered the position. So that's kind of what we're really excited about. Brad, why don't we answer some questions? I don't know exactly where we are, but guys, this is part of the Q&A, and aside from showing you new things, it's a really good opportunity for you guys to ask us some big, important questions.
Yeah, so Zia was asking a question. She understands Holly and kind of, or he understands Holly and how to make the best use out of that window, but has some questions on the surge channel and the volume channel. It seems as though this user kind of sees these positions or these moves after the fact on these channels. And I think that that has a big variable there is when you're pulling them up. If you're watching this stuff early in the market day, then you're going to see these initial moves taking off. But if you're pulling it up later in the day, you may see a lot of these moves that have already happened because it's one of those stocks that has a lot of volume, it's continuing to surge. You know, then there are other channels like our winners channel where you may see things after the fact because that's showing you stocks that are up for the day, up for the week, up for the month. So that's just kind of giving you news reporting. But the surge is something that really does identify these moves early on as that volume is really starting to break out if you're watching it early.
Brad, if I may just add one more thing to what you're saying. And Zia, I hope you understand that the way I want to describe this, it's, you know, one of the things that you mentioned is a pitfall of individuals who want to invest, is when they see something on a graph, they're like, hey, you know what I would really like is to see something, be notified of it, and then after that it starts to go. But unfortunately, it's one of these tricks. A lot of times you can see something like, for example, Brad, let's take a look at this daily chart on CYRXW. You can see it here, and instantly someone says, well, you know, I really would have preferred to have seen it here. Well, we have to say then, well, of course. But that's not how pattern recognition works, because sometimes, like here, something happens, you think it's a pattern, it's not a pattern. You think it's a pattern, but it's not a pattern. Then a bunch of nothing, then something does happen, but then it reverses, and then it goes again. So the notion that I see something, but when I see it in the move has already been made is simply a relativity function of you wanting something that isn't available just yet. Meaning that it's an eternalization, it's an ego thing, and all good traders deal with it, every single one. It's a problem everyone has, but the only solution is you have to give that up, because, and I'm going to get all guru on everybody, it's simply rejecting the fear that you missed the move, if I may translate that more properly. There is a fear element to pulling something up, getting into it, because so much has been built into explaining to everyone that they can't do it, they're too stupid, you need an expert, get into an index. I mean, you might not even believe that you're affected by it, but you are, because conditioning, as Pavlov's dog will tell you, is a powerful thing, Brad. So the thing is this, guys, there is no perfect way to do it. You cannot like throw darts and always hit the center. But the idea is, with our technology, you're going to aim a lot better, and you're going to find this potential. Okay, so just take a look at this and understand, like here's an example of the potential and the prices that go with it. Let me make my property so you can see it. Why did I not do it? Properties, show crosshairs, go away. Okay, there you go, tooltip. All right, so here is VSTM on a buy signal May 9th, and here it is roughly 100% higher. That's real. You have to see that and understand that this is what we look for. We're just kind of showing it over and over again in different places, different things that you might not expect. So there's that simple combination, and we call it the Holy Trinity, everyone. But we're making that Holy Trinity easier for you to follow, where we say, look, here's a simple thing. You don't even need to care about anything. You can visually say, here's a stock. It looks like it's going well. If it gets above this, go time. This is where your ego says to you, when it gets here, it says no time, because surely you're not smart enough. You're going to find the perfect top, and it's going to hit this in reverse. But that's not how actual investing happens. So, question, do we take social media trending seriously? So here's the thing about social media. It has no magic potion about it other than it is another data point. Do we take it seriously? 100%, in that we input social media trending and information into our algorithms to see if that data helps us in any way. So the AI knows to look at social media. But does it always? I would say not that often. Brad, do you agree, disagree?
Yeah, you know, it's another metric that we do great stuff with, because like all the data that we ingest, we take it and we offer some of that directly back out to you, but a lot of it we take and we create and massage it and make new data. And the social data is one of them, where we take that data from StockTwits, but we create statistical baselines for everything. So we know when something gets talked about, you know, more than normal. And what we have found is that there is a lot of parity between the stock's relative volume and the amount of volume that's being talked about on social media. So it's just another metric, but we take that metric and we make it better like we do with all the data.
Speaking, this is...
So you have to be introduced to these ideas, right?
Well, I just love seeing, you know, our own work come through, and it's probably harder for you guys to appreciate it as much as, you know, Brad and I do. But we're continuing to evolve the whole process, and Asim, as you're actually saying, we are going to greatly improve the exits in the program. We've already started that process. That is going to be really one of the better pieces of technology that we built. So
yeah, we're pretty critical of ourselves, and we see that as a real spot that we can improve tremendously. And right now, I think that the biggest advantage that you're getting is that it's spotting these incredible opportunities in real time for you. And ultimately, you have to manage how long do you want to, you know, stay in that type of position.
Right, but also, you know, that from what we show you, and Brad, what's going to happen? Let's talk a little bit about the historical ability. And first of all, a couple of things. Asim, you can't backtest AI because the AI is the backtest. So that's the thing that we're doing. But you can create your own strategies and backtest them yourselves and actually automate them.
And we do give you, if you pull up the AI channel, we do give you an interface to take a look at what some of the odds maker results are for the various strategies. They may not all be visible to you, but you can add various columns that allow you to look at, you know, the back testing history, what's the win percentage and what's the profit factor of that stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about kind of, you know, where we're going. So we've already added the annotations on the chart of being able to see these historical AI trades, but we're going to now give you the ability to pull up yesterday's AI trades, look at them in a chart, pull up the day before, the week before, and really have a real clear understanding not only of the real-time signals, but some of the historical signals as well. And you're able to manipulate that. You can build stock lists with that. Have alerts look at that. There's so many different things that you can do with that data, and now we're making it available to you, both through the application as well as through our website for subscribers of the premium.
Brad, like right now, for example, people will see, even, everyone's going to see this stuff, right?
Yes.
Right, okay, got it. So there's a question from Umar about E-Trade. So E-Trade right now has been a partner of ours for a long, long time, but they use a very old version of trade ideas from, my goodness, 2005. It has the odds maker functionality, but it unfortunately does not have any of this more powerful AI or anything else, really. So it really is up to the E-Trade customers and management to figure out how to add the new functionality. Okay, so Tom asked a good question. How can the AI be used to assist in swing trading? Well, Tom, remember I was saying the whole idea about the AI is to get you through the first day. You can kind of see that, look, you know, it's impossible to predict exactly when the winners are going to happen, and that's when you have to be ready for risk management. But on the other hand, when the possible winner situation lends itself, like this tellurium trade where it was up 14% today and the AI was able to catch 6 of it, well, you just have a higher chance, if things continue that led to this, that you might not need to get out of that ever. That's the whole point. So the way you do it is you trust all of these, and within your perspective, you trust what you see, that it is something that you can potentially be in. Like, for example, maybe this one, the tellurium, is the right price because the way your capital account is set up, you have enough money in it to trade it at 1,000 shares, which is what you want, because again, that's the kind of risk profile you have. But it's possible that you also maybe have a much bigger account and you can, invest in things like this.
So, Dan, there's also another scenario for Tom, and I think I read earlier he didn't really have time to look at the market, and with the AI, you really do have to be kind of participating.
Oh, totally. It's the trade of the week.
Tools. I was going to say we have some tools like Brokerage Plus where you could come up with your own strategy, something that you like, and implement it. Essentially, turn it on before you take off to the office and have it look for a particular signal. When it finds that signal, automatically execute your set of instructions, manage it appropriately, and then get out after a certain time stop or a certain profit target's hit, and just kind of repeat itself, rinse and repeat over and over. And if that's something that you have an affinity for, that's definitely an option for you.
And also, we have quite a bit of resources for that on our YouTube channel. There's a partner of ours, Michael Noss, who's been consistently investing his IRA account automatically through Interactive Brokerage, and he's in Canada. And he's going to be speaking at our event that we have in at the end of September on Sunday, October 1st. And that's something else I want to make sure everyone here knows. We have, if you go to our website, let me bring that up real quick here, Brad. I don't know if that's still at the top of it. Let's make sure it comes up here. So here we have the Trade Ideas Summit, Search for the Holy Grail, which is something that we're showing to you right now, but we're going to talk about the various best practices and delve into kind of a little bit of what Tom was saying and answering a lot of the questions that Zaya had and Umar about, well, what is really the best way to do it? And the key is simplicity. I'm just going to, kind of cover it all in one shot. Be simple. Stupid is the KISS principle. It really does work in this case. Most of the time, things go wrong when you overthink. So, of course, all these questions that you have, guys, are amazing, and we really, once again, want to say we appreciate them. One of the things that we really try to create with this product is a way for the customer to offload the painstaking things. Some of the things that you're talking about, like risk reward, managing the P&L, being able to watch all the positions all the time, and also having that statistical edge versus just looking at the tarot cards of technical analysis. So that's our approach to the whole game. We want to make it easier for you to eventually simply be able to, now notice, Brad, right-click, trade, tell. Now this is a right-click option, but we're going to make it more simple, more flowing for you to be able to go from the trade right into following this trade live. So Tom, Holly is already, okay, so Tom's asking again a good question. Can the AI be programmed to focus on a specific watch list of stocks? It sounds like a good idea, but the problem is, imagine if the AI was programmed, let's say, on your list of 10 stocks, but the whole year they never met the profile to be a good trade for what the AI is trying to do. Our whole advantage is that our ability to recognize statistical footprints of the PULM type trades, or this one, or again, whichever ones that we do, they work on laws of large numbers. Right now, while we are doing this presentation, the Trade Ideas server farm is working to find what happened today and how that information improves the play for tomorrow. So that's our learning process, Brad. We've called this the quantitative combine for quite some time. And it's like, instead of having an NFL season, our season is one day. It's the day that happens in the market. As soon as that's over, our servers are right now going through all of this stuff that you're seeing here, reanalyzing the patterns. They're re-looking at the trades that were made and saying, had I known what was going on today and the data behind it, what would I have done differently? And that information gets put together, and that's how we are going to get the signals for tomorrow. It's basically that simple. All right, Tom's got to ask the dumb question of the day. Why are we selling it? Right? Brad, is that the dumb question of the day?
I don't know. He hasn't asked it yet. But,
come on, Tom.
It's a good dumb question.
That's always one.
I have no futures at this point, but it is something that we're looking into.
So people ask us, go ahead, Tom. What's the dumb question of the day?
So Cheryl, yes, it'll automatically close the previous channel, but you have the ability. These are something that we've set up for you. You can customize any of these channels and save them to your cloud so that you have a particular workspace that you're comfortable using that uses all of your screen real estate. And
I'm going to show you as Brad's talking. So here I'm taking a window from the short squeeze and I'm duplicating it and I'm placing it right here. Now I right click and then I select pin because I really like this window. I feel like it's got some good information. Now I go to the surge channel. I switch channel, but my short squeeze window stays here. And that's how we do it. And again, you can quickly see when a stock has some AI footprints in it. So Tom, what's up? So I'll answer the first dumb question. The reason that we sell this product and we don't just use it ourselves is because partly it's a moral aspect. It's a little bit like penicillin. Right now, the majority of asset management is centralized, meaning like 6 guys who golf together in New York control the whole money game. I mean, I'm joking, but not joking. Fidelity and all these gigantic mutual funds. It's all top down, one manager. And so when you have that situation and that kind of bureaucracy, it just does not lend itself to being able to be a good research area. Even though they have a lot vested on their success, but they also have a lot vested on not making mistakes. Whereas we here, we are looking for the next cancer cures, the stocks that are, again, like the ones that we've shown you, like PULM, that have this potential to be able to do things that, your RIA would tell you is a joke. So it's about empowering people with information and to the tune of penicillin and giving it away to everybody so that we're all cured versus creating a patent and then having everyone be sick. Just a different approach. We want the game to get better because we feel like if people see these stocks and these stocks actually are able to withstand proper speculation, then their truth comes out and investors reap the rewards. It's that simple. So Tom, almost all of the signals that you see here, let me bring up this window. So I'm going to show you a couple of things. And this is good information for everybody, especially since a lot of people don't always know. So we have win today. Okay. So based on the analysis of yesterday, meaning the market yesterday, the software went out and created this bank of strategies, this long, and they have to meet a certain kind of qualification to play. Like, like we said in terms of the combine, the football players got to run a 440 and be able to catch and jump and all this stuff. So this is the historical percentages they had, but here is what actually happened today. A 69er had 50 and lost $1. A short had 59 cents, 60%, but it was again flat. A 60%er only had 33% win rate, but was able to give 87 cents. And of course, the 45%er had 100% and gave us the big one. So that's how it works. This is the historical versus the real, and we're always working to try to get them as close as possible, if not better. I'm not sure if home CEOs appreciate this cure. What do you mean, Umar? We have nothing to do with PULM. We just pointed out that there was a behavior of the stock that lent itself to outsized returns. And that's really all that we focus on.
Yeah, and you don't have to love a symbol or a stock to pull money out of it, right?
No, not at all. But the speculation in equities is much like the wolves. They take out the weak prey and they help the herd. So does speculation. If a move is real, if it will continue. If it is not real, it gets reversed, and so on and so forth. And that is the beauty of the world that we live in and the country we live in, where we can do that. Yeah, we have not, but Umar, that's not our business. We do not get paid for anything. All we're doing is just showcasing that we do give you signals that do very well, and we're doing it in real time. We don't fake this information. This happened. This was a trade. It happened right here, and it just kept going and continued to go higher, and is now at 11.19 or something, or 11.05. That's what we try to do, and we also say it doesn't always win, but you can do lots of small feelers until the one that's there shows up. And so that goes back to the whole commitment of capital, not being afraid to just try something and understand that you're in it because the statistics say you're in it. And that's as good of a reason as you're ever going to have. There's no other good reason to get there, because once we're in, the future is unknown. Do never listen to anybody who tells you that you can predict the future. You can anticipate, you can react, but you cannot predict. And this is where we excel, and again, why we're growing the way that we're growing, because simply people like yourselves, you're seeing what's possible. I love saying, Brad, the red pill, but it's getting red pilled into what is, and you and I, we had the 1.0 version of that, because Brad and I were so old. We're old. We're so old that we were active investors before the dot-com bubble. We were active investors, as we have said, when the four horsemen of Intel, Microsoft, Cisco, and Dell were the dominating forces of the market. And even those stocks alone were almost good enough, because such outsized returns. Then the search engines came and just blew things out of the water. And it all crashed. And it all crashed.
Magnified, right? I mean, so much more data. This is a way to harness it through all the different tools we have.
Data is everything, and we honestly are the best at it. That's the thing. We have our own data. Stuff that we do here, that's not something that other vendors are going to be able to do, because we just do it differently with our own custom data sets. And we are the ones saying that timing is everything. Forget about not timing. Timing is everything. And of course, go ahead, Doug, sorry.
Sim has a question regarding the AI signals, and as we look at the daily chart right there, we do see a lot of signals. But remember, those are daily bars. So the way the AI is designed, it is designed to close every position at the end of each day, and it's really up to the trader to decide based on where they've established their position, what the broader market looks like, what the earnings, whatever it is, whether they're going to hold it or not.
Right. What we're showing you here is that you have two signals, an entry and an exit, every single day. And that is for the reason that we don't want to be reliant on having to be able to say, hey, we got into this stock in January, everyone's in it, and that's it. That's not how our customers make money. We have to continue to give you new things, to build. We start flat every day so that we can explore together, and so that trade ideas, nor you, are riding our old coattails, which is, again, is impossible for the investor and is unethical for us as a vendor. We prove it every single day.
So let me take Cheryl's question, and she's asking about a certain percentage risk management Holly uses to get out of a trade other than the risk on parameters. So there are a couple things. There's that profit save. It's like a trailing stop. If the stock is moved up high enough based upon what its smart stop is, that profit save could possibly kick in on a retracement. Every stock has a time stop, so it's going to expire after a certain period of time, and it's going to, right there, showing some time stops. And so we had a good number of those happen today as well. And then we have a reduced risk algorithm, which is something that looks at a stock, and if it just hasn't been performing after a certain percentage of its time horizon, then it'll go ahead and cut that. So there are a lot of different algorithms that it uses to get out of a position.
And by the way, Brad, what you're saying is that's the nitty-gritty of it, you know, because of course the expectation is you get in short here and it instantly falls, but there's a lot of back and forth, and supply and demand is not, you know, again, if it was so easy to do, everyone would be doing it. But we're going to get you in. Statistically speaking, you're going to be more right with trade ideas than you're going to be anywhere else. That's our simple value proposition, and we continue to prove it over and over again. All right, so good, hold on one second. So, Fyodor, we do not have AI as an addition to eSignal yet, possibly in development. We're going to figure that out. But right now, it's basic on basic. Fred, if you're new to our approach, and Brad, correct me if I'm wrong, but I suggested the best way, and maybe Scott, throw a link to Fred. The trade of the week is one of the best ways to get started with us. It's something that I'm going to be discussing towards the end of the presentation anyways, but we provide a lot of free services for the community, but we don't typically run around and brag about it other than just mentioning how we do it. We have a trade of the week where we scour the AI and look for a kind of a more, what we call a human AI symbiotic signal that we believe has more longer term potential. Every Monday it's in your inbox, it's free, and it's something that you can follow. It has entries and exits, same for everyone, and again, it's up to you. It's totally free, but it's a good, you know, put a toe in the water kind of thing. Secondly, after that, and I'm going to really quick, Brad, pop into the PowerPoint here. After that, what we have is our trading room, and here's the link for it. You can get to it from our website, and this trading room is monitored by Barry Anderson, who is there every trading day from the morning till I believe about an hour before the close. And what Barry does is he maintains our community of the web meritocracy of best practices. We have great investors there, people who have been utilizing our technology for a very long time, and this is where the community continues to elevate itself. People that come in, typically it's very easy for them to join the room, see how people are interacting, what kind of information they're sharing as it relates to the technology. And of course, nothing can be complete without people realizing that when you do subscribe to Trade Ideas, we create this on-ramping valet process because we believe investing is a valet type of service. It's not like a grinder, you know. I don't know, Brad. I'm less, even though I appreciate what Robinhood is saying about the free, but I'm more of the, you know, kind of Aston Martin kind of guy myself.
Well, look, I know where you're going. It's super important that our clients know how to use this stuff. And so we make sure that every new subscriber can sign up for a one-on-one session with one of our very professional educators. And we sit down, we connect to your computer, and, you know, we show you how to use the tool based upon how you want to use it and what you want to get out of it.
And that's the best way, I think, to get started. And then, of course, you know, if you're ready to go, if you're ready to trade, you cannot be, consider just the high-level barrier to entry, okay? And this is something, Brad, I think people don't often consider because it requires a little bit of like Michael Jackson looking in the mirror and being honest with yourself. If you have a hard time being able to afford a AI that costs $188 a month, which is what Trade Ideas costs without any discounts or anything like that, it's going to be very difficult to parlay into a successful investing setup, because investing, as you saw even from the AI, requires quite a bit of trial and error. You have to get comfortable being able to make 5 small mistakes in a row without it, like, you know, getting you feeling like you're a loser. Most people can't do that because the ego is a powerful thing and it controls a lot of our emotions and base reactions to stimulus. But, you know, if you think about, again, how much I pay for cable and things like that, this is the fact that we're able to do this at the price that we do it at. If this is a hindrance, then again, it could be a lesson well learned that maybe this is just, you don't have the adequate capital to do it. But otherwise, it simply is a must-have. It's like that. We have a podcast that we do every Friday, which is a little bit of a less formal way to get information from the Trade Ideas team. I was on there talking with our partner David last week, and we have guests. It's just one of the ways that we evolve the process of communicating our information, and we would love it if more and more people would go to iTunes and subscribe to the Trade Ideas podcast. That's every single Friday. Asim, I wasn't sure about the sidebar. Brad, am I crazy?
Yeah, I didn't know about it either. I went there, and over on the right-hand side of that page is a little video that you could go to. But essentially, if you go to our YouTube channel, there's a great video of you, I think it is, explaining risk off and risk on and how it's interpreted best.
David, the problem is, again, there's never a vast majority of them that go up. You know, the notion that there's a vast majority of anything is the problem. But the way that patterns actually behave themselves in the market is, and Brad and I have done so many presentations about it, is that it's akin to a leopard on a tree, you know, waiting in ambush. Okay? It happens, you pounce and you hope that it works out, but of course it may not. But there's never a situation where we are like completely convinced that something's going to happen. In fact, the spiritual path of it is you have to be prepared to take the other side. It's like you have to be flexible enough to always assume you could be wrong, so that in case you are wrong, you can take appropriate risk management decisions. Because ultimately, it's the preservation of capital that opens you up to take the full advantage of the stock market. Let me see here. Scott, did I miss any cards? I know we were a little bit out of order. That's just, we've got a promo code for everybody that is at the webinar today, Holly Trades. I hope that's the right one. And that gives you 15% off of your first month or a year off of Trade Ideas. The year is a fairly strong discount, and that's one of the things that a lot of people choose. A little bit of a comparison on a per day basis. We're right there with a nice coffee drink, which I would love to have as well. One of the things that we do is we make it very easy for all of our customers or anyone really to get a hold of us. We're active on social media. We're easily approachable via email, and here's our contact information. If you'd like to talk to myself, I'm at Trade Ideas 1. Our more corporate account is at Trade Ideas. Please like us on Facebook. And also, if you have questions, we're available for you. info@trade-ideas.com. My direct email, which I'm not afraid to give out to people on these presentations, is dan@trade-ideas.com. we are in the process of completely changing the way individuals invest. I think next year we could be number one on that Inc. 5000, and it is because of what you guys see. And as I said before when we started the presentation, Brad, I want to thank everybody for paying attention to us, for taking the time to take a look at this, and for evolving past what has been taught to us for so many years. Thank you, and innovation is coming.
Have a great one.